eldership provides necessary accountability protection to the particular sins that plague leaders, such as pride and greed and playing God. Second, eldership structure provides peer relationships and balance and of elders' weaknesses and correction of character. I believe it promotes our sanctification. Let's look at these two things together. First of all, eldership accountability. Eldership accountability. The famous English historian Lord Acton said this: "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." It's a very famous statement. I'm sure you've heard of it before. Now, we are Bible-believing Christians. And if there is anyone who understands the importance of accountability, it should be us. We know from our Bibles how corrupting sin is, how deceitful sin is, and how easily we're distorted and perverted by power and authority and money and fame and status. If there's anyone who believes in accountability, it should be us. We really believe we need accountability to restrain the sins of pride and greed and playing God with other people and exalting ourselves over others. Jesus knew this. That's why he taught humility. That's why he washed their feet and knelt down before them. As an example, he said, now you've seen my example, now you do that to one another. Serve one another in the most humble way. Prefer one another. Advance one another. Be concerned about one another's interests and listen to one another. Oh, how important this is. The idea of the lonely, trained professional, the sacred person who presides over the church and can never really become a part of the church, this is utterly unbiblical. It's man's ideas. We are to be interdependent, and we are to be mutually leading the people of God and holding each other accountable. Then peer relationships. Oh, one of the great joys of my life has been working with a group of men who are peers. We have been partners in the work of God. This has been one of the great joys of my life. We balance one another. We all need balance. We all have our imbalances. And sharpen one another, and comfort one another, and protect one another, strengthen one another, and may I say, pastor one another. Pray for one another. A team of pastor qualified elders. There's no greater joy. I would never trade this for being solo pastor or being out there on my own. That's why so many of these men burn out and there's nothing left of them. They're bitter 5-6 years later. You can't find them. Many seminaries will tell you that. Many of the men who go out into Christian ministry 5 years later quit. They're exhausted. They've been so torn to pieces by the people. They're all alone. It's not healthy psychologically or spiritually to be alone. A healthy relationship with other men is important, very important to your spiritual health. You know, the two great things that God has used in my life to sanctify me and make me a much better leader, the first is my wife. She's my greatest critic. She's always right. And my fellow elders. And we need one another. So I am saying to you that eldership harmonizes with and it promotes the theology of the church, the mission of the church, the character of the church. It best suits what God has made his people to be. Why don't we just accept what he has said?